Hi. Hello, hello. Hey, damn, it's been a while. How come it's not updating the thing? Oh, it has. Never mind. I was referring to the title of the song. As always, I keep experiencing issues with the UI, but oh well. With my, what is it called? Scenes, I guess. Okay. Let's have that other thing open. Cool. It's actually a bit loud. Hang on. For me. There you go. I did something different with the audio setting as well. Like I'm no longer using voice meter. I guess this is why the music is now very low. Let's put it there. Yeah. Should be enough, right? Because like usually the music wouldn't touch the yellow bar. I think that's like the minimum threshold or something. Turn it up just a bit. Yeah. Should be fine. Okay. So for tonight, we'll be talking about the minimum wage. Something's pretty not as topical as I thought it was going to be. Surprisingly. Even though like the headlines are everywhere. Well, kind of. I guess people are more interested these days with the Twitter fiasco, that's one. And also, what's the other thing? The G20 stuff. Luckily, we're no longer caught up with the Ukraine war, even though it's still ongoing. Pretty nerve-wracking, the whole thing that happened in the Polish border. Still don't know what the outcome was, honestly. Was it? I think because there were several disputes about whether it came from Ukraine, or it came from Russia. By the end of the day, it's definitely an accident, though. I think that's definitely something that we need to consider. There's no way in hell either of those two countries would intentionally fire a missile into a NATO country. That'd be like disastrous and well, straight as suicide almost. If I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Okay. Shall we start with the news? I guess we can start with that. I posted this on when I was promoting on Instagram. Where's the bloody article? There you go. I hate Tempo so much. Like, look at this shit. Like, so many ads, left and right. Like, you're just bombarded by it. And the worst part is that it likes to do this thing where after a while it would what was it? Get removed? And it would switch to a different article, which is actually, this is a different article. I wasn't looking at this just now. I was looking at this one. So annoying. Right out of the gate, I think something to state is that nothing is final as of yet. I think, though there was ministerial decree, ministerial regulation regarding this, which we will read after this as well. But I am interested with this headline. Like, why should it not exceed 10%? Like, what's the basis? You know? Let's give it a read. So again, it's reiterating that it should not exceed. The increase should not exceed 10%. I guess the fact that it increases anyway is already, you know, an improvement, let's say, from last year. So like the tone is definitely better now. It's like she said some nasty shit back then, like the whole debacle about the kites index and the thing about she said some other stuff. I forgot what it was. I can't seem to remember. Something to do with the minimum wage, I guess. But yeah. So this is the ministerial decree, number 18, 2022, and so on. Could increase max 10%, sure. Do not exceed that. In consideration of social economic conditions, okay, sure. Now this is the concerning bit, like how it is calculated. Is in consideration of economic growth, inflation, and a certain index. Like, what does that mean? Like, it really sounds arbitrary, and you don't want something as consequential as the minimum wage to be arbitrary. So I guess we can highlight that as the first thing. So reason mindful about social and economic conditions of each regions, and formula is based on economic growth, inflation, and a certain index. So we have to find out what does that mean. Because like even the regulation as stipulated under GR 36 is already pretty, concerning, which we will get to as well. I think in the ministerial regulation, this thing, they kind of reiterate what was stipulated under GR 36. Valid from January 2023. Pretty straight up thing. Go away, please. Fucking ads. Furthermore, okay, this is good rhetoric, I guess. Maybe we should screenshot it. It's easier if I want to post things or clip things. Why is it all the way? There you go. Maybe that's better. There's that. And let's screenshot the title, of course. Cool. This, come on, there you go. Voila. Make this a bit smaller. Okay. Back to it. Page 2. So this is interesting. Like she highlighted that why, well, I find it a bit idiotic, like to say, like, so she's saying one of the reasons why they decided to increase the minimum wage in 2023 is because with the consideration that the 2022 minimum wage can no longer keep up with rising prices, which causes the deterioration of workers' purchasing power. They are worried that it might happen in 2023 as well. It's like, well, duh, of course. As long as you have inflations and economic growth in general, then you have to adjust it. Another reason it was decrease. because it was deemed that 2022 minimum wage is no longer it's no longer in line. Let's call it that. It's no longer in line with rising prices, resulting with workers losing their purchasing power. Can be a bit closer. This is ridiculous. As long as there is inflation and economic growth, then minimum wage should be adjusted accordingly. Of course, I guess this is in line with the rhetoric that she once said that, oh, our minimum wage is too high, which led to the whole debacle about the minimum wage. So with the adjustment, hopefully could maintain their purchasing power and could boost economic growth, which could eventually create more jobs. Okay. As of now, la la la. That's it, I guess. So this is interesting. Like, Labor was actually grateful that for the 10% thing. Let's just skim through it for a bit. Oh, it's the Labour Party. And unions. Appreciate and thankful. La la la. They're thankful because GR36 is not used. But that... Oh, okay. I guess I get it. So that, considering that the cap is 10%, it means that they no longer abide necessarily with the GR. Because like in the GR, it follows the economic growth and inflation. But then, in the... Let me just show this for a bit. So, this is the ministerial regulation, right? Oh god, not all of them are white. Okay. La la la. Because we still see this formula right here, which is the formula based on the GR36. Okay, it's reiterating the whole certain index. Is this the index then? What's the alpha over here? The adjustment. Inflation plus economic growth. Alpha, here we go. Certain index that depicts the contribution of workers towards the economic growth between 0.1 to 0.3. Where is this coming from? My god. So alpha needs to consider productivity and expansion of job opportunities. This is very, very arbitrary. So this is it should not exceed 10%. If economic growth is negative, then it should only consider inflation. Okay. Oh, this is pretty much the same. Oh god, maybe we should just change it back to white. Any explanation about that we... of course there wasn't. So from 0.1 to 0.3. Jeez. What the hell? Is it like trying to capture the labor to capital ratio or something like that? Again, it's so strange. Like, why are they using that? Okay, anyway. We're jumping ahead of ourselves here. I was meaning to open, yeah, the article back. Let me make some small adjustments here so I don't strain my eye too much as I take notes. And zoom in. So where were we? Oh, the whole grateful thing. Okay. Screenshot this thing first. And we need the title. No need. Link. So what's happening? Labor Party and unions appreciates the government not using GR36 in calculating the minimum wage. Honestly, like, the fact that we had to make, like, a special case with this whole thing, like, it goes to show that you really should change the regulation. If, like, the GR36 one, if, like, any increases in the minimum wage would only lead, you know, like, to pushbacks like this, then it sounds to me that there's something wrong with it, which we will get to. Yes, minimum wage. Well, I guess they got it wrong a bit. It's not that the minimum wage will increase by 10%, like over here. It's the cap. The cap is 10%. I don't know if this is an error in the, you know, the journalist who wrote this, or if there's a misunderstanding between the labor unions and the Ministry of Manpower. Based on the ministerial regulation that the minimum wage will increase by 10%. Not exactly, the cap is 10%. Glad we got a sneak peek of the regulation just now, so that we kind of have a better understanding what's happening. Okay, so Syed Iqbal expects that that this new formula will be used in the coming years. I mean, honestly, I guess we'll see, because I do have, like, this thing over here. It's like a very raw spreadsheet on, what was it, our minimum wage. Well, expects that be used in the coming year as well. Okay. Could not accommodate, blah, blah. I think it's the same stuff as we've seen. So it is to be announced by 28th. So deadline extended from 21st November, which is in 10 days. Wait, sorry, to 28th. They mentioned about a YouTube video. Wonder if we can find that. Kerjaan upah minimum. Okay. Published something yesterday. 19th November? Oh, it is the 20th. Wait. Okay. So in 1 week, there will be the announcement. Cool. It's only 10 minutes. Should we watch that? This one's a year ago. I do wonder because I've never heard her talk before. Oh. Okay, there's a... Oh wait, this is 11 months ago. Never mind. Okay. Let's give it a watch. See what's what. I could just pause the music real quick. Sorry.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk
Waalaikumsalam.
kita semua. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang saya hormati para gubernur di seluruh Indonesia, para bupati wali kota di seluruh Indonesia, sahabat-sahabat pekerja buruh dan para pengusaha. Pertama, marilah kita panjatkan puji dan syukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, karena atas karunia-Nya kita diberikan nikmat kesehatan dan dapat menjalankan tugas.
Do you fucking really have to go through all of this shit? Sorry. That's mean. Yes. Decorum. Never mind.
Tugas sesuai dengan peran kita masing-masing. Kita semua mengetahui bahwa dalam waktu dekat ini akan ada penetapan upah minimum tahun 2023 oleh gubernur. Dan hampir semua daerah saat ini telah melakukan proses penghitungan upah minimum. Pada kesempatan ini saya ingin menyampaikan kembali bahwa kebijakan upah minimum pada dasarnya merupakan salah satu instrumen untuk mewujudkan hak pekerja atau buruh atas penghidupan yang layak bagi kemanusiaan. Upah minimum ditetapkan pemerintah khususnya bagi mereka dengan masa kerja kurang dari 1 tahun. Upah minimum tersebut merupakan jaring pengaman untuk melindungi upah pekerja atau buruh agar tidak merosot sampai batas garis kemiskinan yang dapat membahayakan kesehatan pekerja atau buruh sehingga akan berdampak terhadap produktivitas pekerja atau buruh.
Okay.
Meskipun demikian, penetapan upah minimum juga perlu mempertimbangkan keberlangsungan usaha dan potensi penciptaan lapangan kerja baru bagi angkatan kerja yang setiap tahun masuk ke pasar kerja. Sebelum berlakunya PP nomor 36 tahun 2021, terjadi disparitas atau kesenjangan upah minimum antar wilayah yang cukup tinggi. Kondisi tersebut berimplikasi bukan hanya pada aspek iklim usaha dan daya saing penciptaan lapangan kerja antar wilayah, namun juga pada akhirnya berkorelasi dengan produktivitas dan kesejahteraan masyarakat. Melihat kondisi yang seperti itu, PP 36 2021 hadir dengan paradigma mereduksi disparitas upah minimum antar wilayah dengan harapan terjadi pemerataan penciptaan lapangan kerja dan perluasan kesempatan kerja yang berkelanjutan dalam jangka waktu menengah dan panjang.
Interesting angle, even though if you look at the actual document, it did not say, what was it, reducing regional disparity and whatnot. It's the objective is to return minimum wage to its original function, which is as a social safety net, which is wrong on so many levels. How is wage a social safety net? If it is a social safety net, it should not be tied to your employment status. Holy hell. But, oh well. So what was it? Gender 36 is expected to reduce this disparity. Sure. Okay.
Saat ini kondisi sosial ekonomi masyarakat akibat dampak pandemi COVID-19 belum sepenuhnya pulih. Diikuti dengan ketidakpastian ekonomi global yang berimplikasi menekan laju pemulihan ekonomi nasional. Sebagaimana diketahui, struktur ekonomi nasional mayoritas disumbang oleh konsumsi masyarakat yang sangat dipengaruhi oleh daya beli dan fluktuasi harga. Oleh sebab itu, penting untuk menjaga daya beli masyarakat. Berangkat dari aspirasi yang berkembang, penetapan upah minimum melalui formula PP 36 tahun 2021 dirasakan belum dapat mengakomodir dampak dari kondisi sosioekonomi masyarakat, di mana upah minimum tahun 2022 tidak seimbang dengan laju kenaikan harga-harga barang yang mengakibatkan menurunnya daya beli pekerja. Hal ini juga dikhawatirkan akan terjadi.
That's a major oversight considering that the economy was recovering at the time. That why the fuck did you not anticipate that there's going to be such a recovery? Although, okay, fine. To be fair, there was a global value chain disruption as a result of, what was it? The Russia-Ukraine conflict. Sure. But it really goes to show how limited the, what was it? The regulation itself. And, I mean, okay, fine. Like, to be fair, the government did roll out this wage subsidy, even though the amount was abysmal, was embarrassing. And if you follow this train of thought, every time I follow this train of thought, it always comes back to the fact that we are severely undertaxed, and if only we had higher taxes and politicians with better political will of actually protecting its citizens, then we would have more reserve, we would have had more financial, like fiscal space to actually support those who lost their jobs, their livelihoods and whatnot. Because like I get it. I mean, if you were to argue that like, hey, I mean, I understand that the amount of the wage subsidy provided was pretty low, to say the least. But at the same time, we didn't really have a lot, in the first place to actually distribute. It's the best we got. Can make that argument, even though obviously there are plenty of ways you can scrutinize how our budget is spent. But again, ranting, not the main point. Let's keep going.
Kembali di tahun 2023. Mempertimbangkan hal tersebut, pemerintah mengambil kebijakan penyesuaian upah minimum untuk tahun 2023.
By the way, just to be clear, I have the speed at 1.5, so we can get this over with, and because I mean it's pretty slow. I'm sorry.
Perhitungan upah minimum tahun 2023 didasarkan pada kemampuan daya beli yang diwakili variabel tingkat inflasi dan variabel pertumbuhan ekonomi yang tercipta dari indikator produktivitas dan indikator perluasan kesempatan kerja. Produktivitas dan perluasan kesempatan kerja merupakan.
Now, the thing is, like when you look at the regulation again, the one that we've just seen, fuck this. Okay, I hate this. I hate how Adobe still couldn't get the color right. But oh well. So when you actually look at the... Wait, what the fuck happened here? What? Okay, let's change that. Go go back to white, black. There we go. Because in here, they... Okay, what is going on? I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, let's not replace document colors. There you go. There you go. My God. They mentioned about that alpha thing. There you go. Here it is. This thing. That alpha coefficient, which is based on this, but without any further context. I hope, I mean, we've only halfway through the video, that they would somehow mention it.
Merupakan dua indikator yang dipandang dapat mewakili dari dua unsur, baik unsur pekerja atau buruh maupun unsur pengusaha. Berdasarkan kondisi yang saya sampaikan dan mengingat tingkat inflasi dan variabel pertumbuhan ekonomi yang tercipta dari indikator produktivitas dan indikator perluasan kesempatan kerja.
Wait. So that means she's not even mentioning the alpha coefficient here, right? It's like her line was, it's based on economic growth and inflation, which is, let's see if I can get it.
Yang diwakili variabel tingkat inflasi dan variabel pertumbuhan ekonomi yang tercipta dari indikator produktivitas,
which is generated from productivity,
indikator perluasan kesempatan kerja,
and job expansion, which is like, sure, it's part of it, I guess, but it doesn't really capture the whole picture. I mean, okay, it's a gross simplification, but let's see where she's going with this.
Produktivitas dan perluasan kesempatan kerja merupakan dua indikator yang dipandang dapat mewakili dari dua unsur, baik unsur pekerja atau buruh maupun unsur pengusaha. Berdasarkan kondisi yang saya sampaikan dan mengingat periode waktu yang sangat terbatas dalam penetapan upah.
I feel like it's subtly implied that by mentioning productivity, it captures the concern of the employers that, well, I mean, they're not productive enough. Why should we pay them so much? And by so much, as in barely could even meet your basic needs. Fuck them. But oh well. You gotta rein in those investments, am I right?
Upah minimum provinsi yang jatuh paling lambat tanggal 21 November setiap tahunnya, sebagaimana amanat PP 36 tahun 2021, pemerintah memutuskan untuk mengeluarkan aturan khusus terkait penetapan upah minimum pada tahun 2023 melalui Peraturan Menteri Ketenagakerjaan Nomor 18 tahun 2022 tentang penetapan upah minimum tahun 2023. Kebijakan pengupahan ini merupakan kewenangan pemerintah pusat yang dilaksanakan oleh Menteri Ketenagakerjaan sehingga pelaksanaan teknis administratif ditetapkan dengan Peraturan Menteri Ketenagakerjaan.
Okay.
Yang saya hormati, selanjutnya saya ingin menyampaikan bahwa secara umum kebijakan penetapan upah minimum tahun 2023 mengatur dua hal. Yang pertama, penyempurnaan formula penghitungan upah minimum tahun 2023 dan yang kedua, perubahan waktu penetapan upah minimum.
Penyempurnaan. That's okay. So what is it? Number 18, right?
Minimum penyempurnaan formula kebijakan penetapan upah minimum tahun 2023 mengatur dua. Saya ingin menyampaikan bahwa secara umum kebijakan penetapan upah minimum tahun 2023 mengatur dua hal. Yang pertama.
Okay, it's not exactly that.
Pertama, penyempurnaan formula penghitungan.
Regulates two things. One is improving the wage calculation formula. That is an interesting remark to make, which kind of plays into the statement from Said Iqbal that he hopes that the new formula will be carried forward into the coming years.
Upah minimum tahun 2023 dan yang kedua perubahan waktu penetapan upah minimum tahun. Secara umum kebijakan penetapan minimum tahun 2023 mengatur dua hal. Yang pertama, penyempurnaan formula penghitungan upah minimum tahun 2023.
Although then again, by specifying that it's for 2023, it implies that this is a special case. Yeah. But who knows? Prove improving the minimum wage calculation formula in 2023. So, well, how to explain it? We don't really know. Can't say for certain that it will be carried forward into the coming years. It's like, I mean, fair game, I guess. You don't want to make such a big statement. And secondly, adjust the time of announcement. Okay. Sorry. Going?
Dan yang kedua, perubahan waktu penetapan upah minimum tahun 2023 oleh gubernur. Pertama, terkait penyempurnaan formula penghitungan upah minimum bagi daerah yang telah memiliki upah minimum. Rumusannya adalah upah minimum yang akan ditetapkan merupakan penjumlahan antara upah minimum tahun berjalan, artinya tahun ini, dengan perkalian penyesuaian nilai upah minimum dan upah minimum tahun berjalan. Adapun penyesuaian nilai upah minimum...
there was a cut there.
upah minimum dan upah minimum tahun berjalan. Adapun penyesuaian nilai upah minimum rumusannya adalah penjumlahan antara inflasi dengan perkalian pertumbuhan ekonomi dengan alpha.
So, back then, before this regulation, let me see if I can get the original one. So, initially it was... Wait, fuck, it's not this one. Sorry. Wrong one. Is it okay if I show this? Ugh, I kind of feel bad. You know what? Fuck it. Okay, maybe just show the specific regulation. Hang on. Or better yet, just show GR36. Yeah, let me get that. There you go. So, like, originally, the regulation was... So this is the formula. So it has this weird shit about upper limit, lower limit, and whole thing about the upper limit is determined by average consumption, which is which is very idiotic in a lot of ways, and number of household members, fair enough, and number of household members that are employed. Again, fair enough, I guess. If on average there's only one working member of the household, then you need higher minimum wage so that they can ensure to meet the needs of the family. I mean, that's fine, but again, the consumption per capita shit is like so dumb. Just to be clear, your consumption is not determined by, your wage is not determined by your consumption. It's the other way around. What you can consume is determined by how much you get paid. It's circular. I don't know what the term, whatever fallacy, I guess. I mean, it's just wrong. It's misguided. Anyway. So yeah, that's the difference between the previous one. The adjustment is based on, hang on, what was it? There you go. Inflation and economic growth times the alpha was based on a number between 0.1 to 0.3. Let's show that again. It really shows how fucking weird this is. That depicts the contribution of laborers towards economic growth. It considers productivity and, job expansion? The expansion of job opportunities. How the fuck do you get that? Like you see, like when you look at the, no, this is not the official document, isn't it? See if I can get it. Because like usually like in regulation documents, I think it should be here as well. Usually you would have this bit. What is it called again? I went too far. Sorry. So they would have the explanation, like further details on what regulations are and what they represent, what they mean, what do they mean. And the problem is with this one, despite the fact that it has this weird thing going on, like it didn't really say how they're calculated. Like in the case of economic growth, it's quite clear. Oh, they're only using the combination of first to third, or is it? Oh, the first to third quarter of the current year and the fourth quarter of the previous year. That's pretty straightforward. It's very specific. You can definitely tell how it's calculated. But in this case, it's not. They don't explain what they meant by productivity and what they meant by job expansion. It only says, okay, you can get the data from the BPS. And when you go down, there's no there's no explanation, no further details, as you can see from the previous regulation. That is an oversight. Where's the bloody thing? There you go.
Dengan alpha. Yang dimaksud inflasi adalah inflasi provinsi yang dihitung dari periode September tahun sebelumnya sampai dengan periode September tahun berjalan.
That's pretty basic stuff. I think I saw in a document from BPS that the reason why it's September is because you want to consider Ramadan. It's like nowadays Ramadan is in June. I don't know. And I don't think that argument applies anymore. I guess now it's like, well, I mean, if you use the cutoff at September, it means that there's like 2 months for you to actually calculate it. Because if you keep updating the figure based on the most recent data, then it takes longer to make it official. Because like I imagine when you start calculating, then you need to go up the ranks. There's like tons of bureaucracy involved and whatnot. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's fine. I have no problem with that.
PE atau pertumbuhan ekonomi yang dihitung sebagai berikut. Bagi provinsi, dihitung menggunakan data pertumbuhan ekonomi provinsi kuartal 1 sampai dengan 3 tahun berjalan dan kuartal 4 tahun sebelumnya terhadap pertumbuhan ekonomi provinsi kuartal 1 sampai dengan 3 di tahun sebelumnya dan kuartal 4 pada 2 tahun sebelumnya. Bagi kabupaten kota, dihitung
essentially year-on-year comparison.
Menggunakan data pertumbuhan ekonomi kabupaten kota kuartal sampai dalam rentang 0,10
okay, here we go.
Pertumbuhan ekonomi dengan nilai tertentu dalam rentang 0, kontribusi tenaga kerja yang dimaksud dengan alpha merupakan indeks tertentu yang menggambarkan kontribusi tenaga kerja terhadap pertumbuhan ekonomi dengan nilai tertentu dalam rentang 0,10 sampai dengan 0,30. Seperti telah disebutkan sebelumnya, penentuan nilai alfa harus mempertimbangkan produktivitas dan perluasan kesempatan kerja. Seluruh data yang digunakan dalam penghitungan upah minimum berasal dari lembaga yang berwenang di bidang statistik.
You're just reading the fucking regulation. You're not explaining anything.
Yang perlu diperhatikan adalah penyesuaian nilai upah minimum baik di provinsi maupun kabupaten kota tidak melebihi 10%. Yang kedua terkait periode penetapan dan pengumuman.
So not only there is an arbitrary coefficient there, like somehow you can come up with a magic number 0.1 to 0.3. Suddenly you decide the cap is 10%. Okay.
Upah minimum provinsi tahun 2023, saya perlu sampaikan bahwa yang sebelumnya paling lambat dilakukan tanggal 21 November tahun 2022 diperpanjang menjadi paling lambat tanggal 28 November 2022. Sedangkan bagi kabupaten kota yang sebelumnya paling lambat 30 November 2022 menjadi paling lambat 7 Desember 2022. Alasan perubahan ini untuk memberikan kesempatan dan waktu yang cukup bagi Dewan Pengupahan Daerah untuk menghitung upah minimum tahun 2023 sesuai dengan formula baru. Upah minimum provinsi dan upah minimum kabupaten kota yang telah ditetapkan mulai berlaku pada tanggal 1 Januari 2023. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, dengan adanya penyesuaian formula upah minimum 2023 ini, saya berharap daya beli dan konsumsi masyarakat tetap terjaga dan dapat meningkatkan pertumbuhan ekonomi yang pada akhirnya akan menciptakan lapangan kerja. Selain itu, saya juga berharap penyesuaian penghitungan upah minimum 2023 ini dapat menjadi jalan tengah atas dinamika sosial ekonomi masyarakat yang berkembang. Pada kesempatan ini, saya ingin menekankan pentingnya penciptaan.
I love that diplomatic language. Hopefully, this new formula is a compromise that takes into account the dynamic, the social economic dynamic. Just say the constant tug of war between employers and employee. Come on.
penciptaan hubungan industrial yang harmonis antara pekerja, buruh, dengan pengusaha dalam menghadapi tantangan ekonomi ke depan. Saya juga meminta kepada seluruh kepala daerah untuk melaksanakan kebijakan penghitungan upah minimum 2023.
Okay, to be fair, she did say that in the following statement. But why bother saying social, economic, what, dynamic?
Sesuai dengan Permenaker nomor 18 tahun 2022 ini. Semoga kita semua dapat menjaga kondusivitas proses penetapan upah minimum di wilayah kita masing-masing.
Okay, thank you, Boo. So, look at this. Tempo is already gone, like, moved on from everything. Okay, so no explanation on where this alpha number is coming from. Turns out she's just citing what's in the regulation, I guess. Oh, adult dating site. How lovely. How do I do it again? Remove, right? Remove, hide user on this channel. But I can block them. Report? Pornography. Guess so, right? Sorry, I'm referring to something in chat. Let me just remove. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Right. So, oh la la la. I guess that's about it, huh? So these are the. Oh, bring back the music, by the way. Ooh, that's pretty loud. Pretty loud because just now the. What was it? The press conference was pretty low, the voice. So 5% increase, well, 6% in Riau. Almost 5% in Jambi. Where's the percentage? Oh well. Okay. Not really a whole lot to show. Can you not play videos? Like, I really hate when news sites do that. Oh, hello. Sorry. Get you out of the way. Right. Now let's actually read the damn thing. So I'll just put note. Basically reading through the regulation. Yeah, that should be enough. Now we can start reading the actual regulation. What is it again? Ministry of Manpower Regulation number 18, 2022. Zoom in. Okay. Oh god, here we go. This is exactly what I was talking about. Literally in the first one. Motherfucker. Okay, it's good that they're actually consistent. That oh god, this is so depressing. Okay, let me oh fuck me. Wait. I see they're sticking with the social safety net. Hey, come on, don't move around. what it covers. These are all basic stuff. La 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 la. Okay, trying to get to the juicy bits. So for areas that already have a minimum wage, the determination, there will be adjustments to it. So I guess if they've determined prior to the issuance of this regulation, maybe that's what it means. So that it should be calculated in consideration of economic growth, inflation, and a certain index. Like, I love the fact that they just gave up, you know, okay. The minimum wage adjustment based on economic growth, inflation, and a certain index. It's almost like they gave up. Trying to justify their change. Or can't be bothered even. Yeah, you know what? Call it a certain index. Whatever. So sad. Okay. This is the adjustment formula. We've gone through this just now. Kind of skim through it a bit. How do we snip this properly so it doesn't take up the whole screen? Come on, let's make it cleaner. Yeah, good enough. Oops. Cut down the size. And a yoop. And a yoop, and a yoop, and a yoop. To the alpha. Beep. So something to note. Inflation and economic growth. Growth are pretty much the same. Same as previous regulations. Pretty basic stuff. And I have no notes for that. It's quite encompassing because like the September, like the inflation it compares between September inflations, and that's fine. It's like the entire year it takes the consideration of the whole thing, whereas for economic growth, it's from fourth quarter of the previous year to the third quarter of the current year compared to the fourth quarter 2 years ago, quarter 1 to 3 of last year. That's like year on year, but with a small tweak in consideration of whatever data is available during the time of calculating the thingamabobber. The juicy stuff is the alpha coefficient, which is very vague and very and arbitrary. Like, how did you questions? How did you come up with the threshold? By threshold, I mean 0.1, 0.3. I guess we'll have to make the simulation, which I already have the spreadsheet. It's so weird. Okay, how did you come up with is very arbitrary. Sure, it's almost like maybe they made their own simulation, maybe, and in order to meet that 10% threshold, the cap, apparently the figure should not go beyond 0.1. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they've done their own simulation, and this range meets the 10% cap, which is again another arbitrary number. Although I guess like a lot of this is very discretionary, which you can probably tell from the language that she used during the press conference, because she said that, oh, this is the compromise between the, well, the way I put it is the tug of war, the constant tug of war between employers and employees. Yeah, what is this thing? Hey, go away. Yeah, there you go. Don't know what that was. Okay, maybe we need to keep going. What's the last thing here? Big and arbitrary. How is... What is this? Productivity measured. Because like, how come economic growth and inflation gets proper details, but not this certain coefficient? Awfully fishy. Because like, labor productivity has various measures. It could be the... What's the technical term? I mean, the most basic one is, of course, when you compare between GDP and number of workers. But the thing is, like, when you use that crude measure, you don't really consider the capital that they use, because then it kind of disproportionately affects workers that happens to work in industries that are not capitally advanced. That doesn't sound right. It's a very clunky way of explaining it, but I hope you get it. Like, if they don't have modern equipment that are more efficient, then they would have lower productivity. It's not necessarily their fault. It's just that they don't have access to these equipments. So, yeah, what gives? And there's another figure. Another indicator is called total factor productivity, which does have its own criticism, if I'm not mistaken. Total factor productivity, meaning yeah, I guess this one it controls for capital input as well, but then again I don't really know how you can come up with labor productivity using this equation. I'm just not familiar with it. But yeah, this is the term that people often use, so I don't know. Anywho, awfully fishy. Let me expand this a bit. I hate seeing just one word at the end there. And the third one, how is... well, what do you mean by the expansion of job opportunities? Which is the second bit. Like, what does that mean? And how does each of these indicators... indicators weighted in measuring the alpha coefficient? It's not clear. And as I've mentioned, even when you go down, there is no explanation section. So, yeah, you really don't know. It's very arbitrary. Well. This is the other thing that she mentioned, that Oh god, hang on. I think the music is getting... Oh, hi Alnick. The wage regulations looks like it's made by economists. Yeah, sorry, the music is getting too loud for me. Oh, I can't hear myself think. I think it's because I just bought new earphones for my headset, for my headphones. That it has better seal now, so the music is a lot more full, but it's not really helping. The wage regulations looks like it's made by economists. What's wrong with my pronunciation there? I don't think even the president or the labor ministry really know about the calculations. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. But I mean, even if it is made by economists, which economists? Like, what are their biases? I mean, the fact that they include this horrendous formula that is overly complicated with no proper explanation. Wait, dude, fuck off. Where is it? Okay, no, not this one. This thing, like, it's like, when I first look at it, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Especially the lower threshold thing. It's like 50%? Are you kidding me? And even like, if it is indeed made by economists, then it's honestly very disappointing. The fact that they pegged it against pegs it against average consumption per capita. Like, no economist worth their salt would, have that, like, would think that's a valid thing to base the minimum wage off of. Sorry, that's a very clunky way of phrasing it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just came up with this. Like, usually, like, the direction is like, oh, you need to come up with the new minimum wage regulation, the formula, which has to meet such and such criteria. One of which is basically we need to lower the minimum wage, like the real value of the minimum wage, because that's one of the main goals of the new minimum wage regulation, according to UUCK, right? So maybe they just, they're just following orders, I guess. Hence, they come up with this atrocious regulation, atrocious formula. Who knows? Turns out it's plot twist. Turns out it's someone from McKinsey or BCG who came up with that formula, which tracks. If it's them, I wouldn't be surprised, considering how management consultants have, let's say, a different attitude when it comes to how they treat their clients, how they facilitate their clients' demands. Anywho, let's keep going, because I still want to read Nabila's paper after this. I think I'm gonna stop once we're done with reading this. We'll just work on the hypothetical thing later once the full list is out, which is next week. Which is convenient, so it gives me, like, time to have some preliminary information as to what's going to happen, what's likely to happen. So, where does the 10% number come from? I'm assuming it's like probably some FGD. It makes sense if the objective is to prevent labor unions from winning big minimum wage increase. Yep. Exactly. It's just, how do you put it? Reducing labor power, I guess. And sadly, well, I mean, cite Iqbal. I mean, they already have their spokesman that is in line with the regime, cite Iqbal, who would openly say, like, "Oh my God, we're so grateful that you're willing to move away from the GR36, from the dreaded job creation law, UUCK. We're so grateful, blah, blah, blah." I am curious though, because like I know that he was involved. I mean, I've heard several times that he was involved in the formulation of the job creation law. What I am wondering, like when this particular section was being developed, what was his involvement? Like, did he speak against it? Because like, if you look at the more recent news coverage, he keeps saying that he's against it. So I don't know. Like again, like these type of discussions are unfortunately, done behind closed doors. It's not an open discussion. Come from? Is it from? What I was saying, by the way, like where does the 10% number come from? Is it from some FGD perhaps, with the Chamber of Commerce, or chamber members, and then they somehow put it up for a vote, and apparently the majority chose 10%. Who knows? It just feels very willy-nilly. Then again, I can sort of get it why they wouldn't, even if there are some like proper estimations that inform this decision. There are probably reasons why they wouldn't want to disclose it, because then it would serve as a strong basis to replace what is stipulated under UUCK, the GR36. Like, you can easily say like, hey, I mean, you already made this regulation. Why don't we just use that? We already know what the bases are, and it's pretty good, even though I still have criticism for it, but because of the cryptic alpha coefficient. But okay. If the economic growth is negative, then I mean that's fine, I guess. Only considers inflation, which is actually pretty good. That it still takes into account price increases, I guess. I wonder if there's any difference for regional minimum wage. This one is the same, and we have a side by side, maybe. Sorry, you're not supposed to see that. I think I can close it for now. I don't think we have time to cover both things. As province. Hello? There you go. So 3 years, the same one. Provincial. Reduced by inflation. Yep. Same one. Wait. Okay, certain conditions. There's none of this though. That's different. They provide legal protection, legal assurance for the regional head, whether it's a mayor or a regent, that they reserve the right to determine their own minimum wage. So I guess that's nice. Oh, I am curious about the... I guess these ones are the same. Yeah, power parity, median wage. That tracks. Yeah, same one. Personally, no weird alpha shenanigans going here. Yeah, same one. How about for... what is it called? MSMEs, because I remember that. That's one of the... yeah, this one. One of the main things that really pissed me off. No, apparently none of them. Because like in here, like when you look at this. Come on, work with me, thank you. So, micro, and small businesses are excluded from the minimum wage regulations. They provide allowance, essentially, I guess, that the minimum wage should be at least 50% of average consumption. So we're already working from a wrong framework, because if you really want to make the minimum wage as a social safety net, then ideally a social safety net should at least guarantee basic needs, which it may not be perfect, but you can use average consumption as a proxy. The fact that they decided 50% as the minimum threshold, it means you're violating the principle that you're trying to base the regulation off of. And it should at least be 25% above poverty line. The province, which is idiotic. Fuck that. Okay. Let's move on, I guess. So we got that covered. Cool. We'll have to see how this is going to develop in the future, cause sorry about that. Cause we still have another week before the official announcement. I know that there are several provinces that have announced the new minimum wage, the 2023 minimum wage, but I guess we'll see. But now we're gonna start talking about this paper from Nabila Izzati. But before that, I think I'm gonna take just a short break, like 3 minutes or so, and we'll get right to it. Okay, be right back. Hi. It seems that my audio was really bad just now. Okay, so I've reverted to my previous audio settings. That was really horrible. I have no idea what happened. Because I did some tests and it wasn't supposed to be that bad. Hopefully now it's better. Hang on. Hopefully now it's better. Hang on. Never mind. Hello. Testing. Hello. Testing. What is happening? Oh no. Why does it sound so bad? Holy shit. What the hell is going on? Let's see something. Oh, shit. Testing. It doesn't sound like it's coming from my mic. That's the problem. Okay, let's try that again. Oh my god, there you go. Oh my god, that was horrible. Oh I'm so god, sorry. That was horrible. Oh I'm so god, sorry. That was horrible. Okay, I'm just gonna mute the monitor. Okay, this one is good. I'm sorry. Damn, I've been streaming for an hour, more than an hour, with that atrocious audio. What the fuck? Apparently there was some rogue plugin or something that caused all of that commotion. Jeez. Okay, fortunately everything's good now. Play the music again. I thought my audio thought it's broken, Lamau. I should have checked the audio. Damn, I was too bold. Because I was fiddling with the audio settings and I didn't know that was going to cause, whatever that was. Okay, anyway. As I was saying. Lol, my god. Nebula's paper. Okay, thank god I actually checked the damn thing. There you go. Okay. Right. Deregulation and the Job Creation Law, the Future of Indonesian Labor Law by Nabila Rizwa Izati. Does she still, teach at UGM? on the side. I know she's a PhD candidate, right? Sorry, hang on. Yeah. Okay. Let us begin. A new era in Indonesian labor policy has begun with the recent passage of job creation law. Modifies dozens of legislations to make business performance easier and strengthen the. I think the music is a bit too loud. On OBS. I think that's about right. Yeah. Dozens of legislations reducing previous labor rights. Okay. Increased labor market flexibility was never, well, generally it's not a good thing. It can be good, but not really. It makes businesses simpler by the provision to hire workers through an outsourcing system. There you go, that's a prime example there. Or legalizing longer fixed-term contracts, which will make the labor market more precarious for workers in the long run. The study aims to analyze whether deregulation is a way forward for Indonesian labor law and what impacts it might bring on workers. The study found solid evidence that the Indonesian government is currently underway on its mission to deregulate labor regulations. Yeah, fortunately so. This may impact badly on workers as many labor protections previously mandated by law are reduced. I imagine this includes the compensation, what is it called? Severance package, that's one. And the contract terms, that's another obvious one. And because it provides solid opportunity for contract workers to become permanent workers. So my understanding, that is. Therefore, they must strengthen their bargaining position through collective bargaining and reinforcing the trade union to survive in the post-job creation law era. Yep. Modify 77, blah blah blah. This is like the introduction. According to the elucidation part of the job creation law, I'm assuming this is part of elucidation, this bit, the lower part. I think, right? Should be. Does it track? Okay, this one's pretty long apparently. Yeah. Wait. Penjelasan, yeah. Elucidation. Is that the official term? Elucidation. That's interesting. Sedation. Granting span. Expand employment opportunities in the context of reducing unemployment and accommodating new workers, as well as encouraging the development of MSMEs. In addition, it aims to boost the national economy, which will increase public welfare. That's debatable, but okay. The idea that Indonesia needs to create more jobs makes sense due to the high amount of unemployment. Sure. Interestingly, those who works in the informal sector is higher. That's also like well established. I think most people know that. According la la la. To give positive stimulus, okay. Capture foreign investment by reducing red tape and streamlining permits. If only that the job creation law only focuses on this, just pure deregulation on the investment side of things. That would be great. Just especially the red tape part, the bureaucracy. Just reduce the steps, the number of days required to get your business license. It would have done tremendous benefit on its own. So COVID led to high to unemployment. Pretty straightforward there. Sorry, need to reduce the volume there. One of the most significant changes. I mean, you can increase this one. Yeah, by that much, I guess. Yep. Changes to labor law, make it more flexible. Outsourcing system at the first time. So SBA actually tried to change it back then. I didn't know that. Interesting. Holidays and expanding opportunities for foreign workers. Okay. In general, they are rejected, yes. For good reasons. The labor chapter became one of the most talked about parts. Nonetheless, the government did not budge. I wonder, like, after all of the socialization and dialogues and FGDs, were there really no changes at all? That'll be interesting to know. Therefore, this study aims to analyze. Okay. Let's focus on that one. Objective. First is how far the job creation law can be considered as a new form of labor law. Deregulation. Oops, typo there. Didn't see that. Deregulation in Indonesia, and what will be the impact of deregulations on the Indonesian labor market? And workers. The analysis is limited to the text of the job creation law and does not consider its derivative regulations. Oh, okay. What would be the reason? Limitations only consider the text of job creation law. It excludes GRs and implementing, well, and other implementing or derivative. I wonder which is the right term, because like people generally, at least in my line of work, we would say implementing regulation, not derivative. Then again, I guess it would make more sense if it is called derivative. This paper will first lay out theoretical foundation and argue about the political and economy and political landscape. Cool. Okay, moving on. Fortunately, the paper is not that long, so shouldn't take too long to go through the entire thing. There's no specific definition. The general concept is that deregulation occurs when the scope of governmental control is reduced, particularly in the area where all types behavior are governed to serve the public interests. Okay. In terms of labor law, addressing deregulation is inseparably linked to the essential concept of labor law. Labor law exists to safeguard the weaker party, the employees, in response to the immense contractual power wielded by the employer. Okay, that's good language there that could be used. Even though sometimes considered controversial, the idea of deregulation of labor policy is not uncommon and in fact has been done repeatedly by some countries. Yeah, not surprised there. 1979, remove barriers to the effective functioning of markets in general and the labor market in particular. Okay, now the music is way too low. Okay. Yeah. Even though sometimes in the guise of reducing rigidities and encouraging greater flexibility in pay and employment, and the deregulation agenda has resulted in significant changes in labor law and social security in the United Kingdom. In Netherlands, interestingly, well, I mean, it is center right, so of course deregulation would occur. Why is it interestingly then? This was an era when the budget deficit had reached its all-time high, and unemployment was also increasing rapidly. I guess this was the driving factor of the deregulation then. It turns out the goal was only ideological. Right. Well, okay, that's interesting. I wonder what was the statement back then. Is it like some vapid, empty statements like, "Oh, we need less government"? Well, that's British, not Netherlands. I don't know how. How to impersonate a Dutch person. Settlements and labor law is relatively small. Okay. I don't think we need to read this, I guess. Okay, we can move on. Wow, we are powering through this, are we? Before discussing the deregulation, the discourse cannot be separated from economic and political considerations. Okay, this is interesting. I do want to learn about the developments. So the beginning, not too dominant, because the main focus was maintaining independence and consolidating domestic political power. Makes sense. This was when trade unions enjoyed their biggest political freedom. Along with the liberalization of the political sector at the time. As an illustration, in 1950s, there were around 150 trade unions at the... Okay. Should I write this? Nah, I think it's fine. Most of them were affiliated with political parties. Therefore, the trade union was heavily involved in making Indonesia's early labor law policies. Okay. Order lama. That's the right term, right? Because I mean, generally people only talk about Orba. Order baru. Oh well. Old order era. Oh god. Sorry. 1950s, there were around 150 trade unions at the national level. Damn. And 100 more at the regional level. Most were affiliated with political parties. Hence, trade unions were heavily involved in making Indonesia's early labor law policies. That's actually really good. Labor regulations, that doesn't really roll off the tongue now, doesn't it? Favored the union's role in labor relations. That's good. I wish there's more detail. Like, I wish there were more details, or at least some examples on how they are in favor of unions. Though I guess it's not really the main focus of the study, so maybe that's why we're just lightly touching whatever that's happening at the time. Now during New Order, let's see. Equally dominant, blah blah blah, reforming the economy. Policies must be in line with economic growth. Already a bad start. Which were conditioned to support industrialization. Oh shit. How do you type that? Industrialization. There you go. Okay. I mean, it could go either way for industrialization. Like, what type of labor laws would apply? I mean, I would imagine that, like, on top of my head, it would be health and safety requirements and whatnot. Still, like, in favor of workers in a way, or even introducing, say, social security so that they don't have, so that their productivity is more ensured, or at least that during moments of interruptions due to sickness and whatnot, it would ensure a more expedient return. I suppose. I'm just talking out of my ass here. However, the Sorto era was the decreased period of labor movement and trade. I wonder why it was decreased. Were they bagged as well? Damn. And trade unions. Because the labor movement, okay, was depoliticized. And the state's dominant role was getting stronger in labor relations. This then led to many labor regulations, such as the introduction of the minimum wage concept. Oh. In what way? Is it like, there's also a 1960 law about the establishment of work council in state-owned enterprises. Oh, that's cool. Hang on, okay. I will admit that I'm not entirely sure what labor council means. What work council means. Did we Google that when we were working on, in Germany, when we were learning about co-determination definition, just to refresh my memory. A group of employees representing a workforce in discussions with their employers. Right. Okay. Formed by an employer among workers within the organization for the discussion of problems. Like a representative, essentially, right? Unions are voluntary. Okay. I see. State has more dominant role, leading to the introduction of, among others, minimum wage, social security for workers. That's nice. And states' involvement in determining the terms and conditions of work. PKB, I guess. That's the term, right? PKB? Perjanjian kerja bersama, right? Okay. This rigid system of labor relations. Wait, hang on. Consequently, labor relations have become rigid since they were based more on the government's complex economic and political considerations. I guess I can see that. I mean, it kind of depends though. Like, were they still able to unionize? I mean, if that's the case, then like I wish there's more context as to how it was depoliticized. Let's see. Consequently, labor relations have become more rigid since they were based more on the government's considerations. Okay. Exclusionary corporatism. An effort of elite. groups in society where the government reduces and changes the form of prominent working class group, such as unions. Through coercive policies that suppress trade unions. Okay. What happened here? Okay. Moving forward, the collapse of the New Order regime changed the landscape of labor relations in Indonesia and the result. Okay. Reform era. It's freed again in line with political liberalization. Hence, trade unions have re-emerged with the establishment of law. Number 20. Okay. Introduce law. What is this? Law 21 2000 that change the single union model into multi. What does that mean? Single union model. No, not pipes. Fucking. Ah, fuck. Typo. Wait, sorry. Okay. Get the Wikipedia. Oh my god. Kind of hurts a bit, honestly, after a while. Single. There's no single. Model? Multi? Okay, not here, I guess. Single, please. Sargon of... What the fuck? Why is that name here all of a sudden? Okay. Single trade unions. Only two. Okay. Single trade union. Single union? That the union will represent all the workers at a particular workplace. Okay. Let's try to be more pointed then. Difference between single union and multi-trade union. From LinkedIn, of all places. Okay. Let's go back to that. What is there's only one legal union, FS-PSI, but it's basically the instrument of the government to prevent strikes and independent union activism. Many of the union officials are state bureaucrats or security personnel. Oh, KSPSI. Right, okay. Yeah, I can see how that could be bad. Yeah. I see. I did not expect that there's going to be like one union to rule them all or stuff like that. Damn. Yeah, that's awful. And I guess the legacy of what KSPSI represent kind of seeps into today's era as well. There's still a branch of the state in a lot of ways, like you've mentioned a couple of times, Halnick. Oh well. Thankfully, it no longer applies. Like, we can still have multiple unions now. Also ratified ILO convention. number 87 on freedom of association and protection of the right to organize. That's good. Nonetheless, with the entry of the IMF into the Indonesian labor landscape due to the monetary crisis, the most visible change was the start of flexible labor policies. Okay. Due to the monetary crisis? Sorry, due to the entry of IMF that was driven by the monetary crisis. What was it? Flexible labor policies were introduced. Okay. The Indonesian government began a labor law reform program with the help of the IMF and USAID. The program includes review, revision, formulation, or reformulation of practically all labor legislations to modernize and make it more relevant. Oh god. Suddenly I'm reminded that someone mentioned when the job creation law was really was really talked about in the public space. Someone mentioned that, hey, I mean, technically the job creation law is what is being proposed in the job creation law is more aligned with international labor laws in even Europe. And I was like, I mean, if it's bad, then why do you say almost like it's a good thing to be more aligned with something that is bad? Wouldn't it be better if we stick to our guns and be better? I don't understand the way that people think sometimes. More relevant to and in step with the changing times. Requirements. Oh, here we go. Requirements of a free market economy. Like, sure, I mean, free market, yay, hooray, but like, the devil is in the details, right? Like, what type of free market are we talking about? Because, when you look how it is being practiced, it allows for cheap labor, sweatshops, and shit like that. I think it's almost a guarantee whenever you see the word free market, it can be going to have a pretty negative outcome. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm definitely pro free market, pro globalization and all that, but the way it is being incorporated to this day, for the most part, is still it tends to fuck over the little guy. Which I guess now, like, I can understand why people tend to be pretty skeptical about IMF, the World Bank, whenever they're involved in things. Even though I would argue they've made some, well, I mean, I wouldn't claim that they've done some changes, but more like the exposure that I've had to what they do so far in my line of work tends to be pretty positive. Nothing about, introducing austerity, we need to lower labor protection and stuff like that. Nothing like that. But oh well, I digress. While the manpower law is not without flaws, wait, hang on, I need to type that out. Free market economy, oh, I've typed it out. Never mind. It led to the establishment of Law 13, 2003, which legalizes fixed-term work and outsourcing systems and started the labor market flexibility in Indonesia. So remember, like back then, there was a it was during the labor economics class. The lecturer, for some reason, asked us to do a debate on labor issues. One of them was outsourcing. That happened to be the topic I was given, and fortunately, I didn't have to defend outsourcing. What I talked about, what I was actually pushing against it. And suffice to say, there were plenty of examples where outsourcing can lead to negative outcomes, as much as, like, theoretically, it can be a good thing, I guess. Like, of course, like the benefit that the supporters tend to say is that, oh, it supports specialization, because you have one specific institution, company, and whatnot that provides workers that are trained to do a specific task. And that way it allows for other companies to just hire these workers from these institutions, from these outsourcing agencies, to work on these specific tasks. They don't have to spend money on training. And on top of that, in the case that the work is done, it means that they're no longer required. There's no more upkeep. But unfortunately, what happens is that there's like a difference in terms of labor protection. At least that's what I've gathered. Like when I was researching about the implication of the relaxation from this from UUCK, from the job creation law. Most researchers keep pointing out that contract workers tend to have less labor protection, even if they come from outsourcing agencies. And on top of that, they tend to be paid less, which is odd, because like you would imagine that if you come from one specific agency where it specializes on a particular thing, one particular task, or multiple, I guess, you would assume that it would have higher productivity. Then, theory-wise, shouldn't they be compensated more? Yes, but in practice, that's not the case. So, yeah. While the manpower is not without flaws, okay. It can be argued that the law is still protective towards workers. For example, the fixed-term work and outsourcing. Okay, it's like another bullet point. I guess we just do it that way. Fixed-term work and outsourcing systems offered are still limited by several governance restrictions and conditions. What are they? It would have been nice if we got to know. In comparison, plenty of these restrictions and conditions currently have changed or even erased under the new job creation law, and thus marking the new era of deregulation in Indonesian labor law. Okay, let's keep it down there. Deregulation and the job creation law. Since the first draft of the job creation law appears publicly, it has drawn massive criticism and controversy from civil society, especially workers and trade unions. Trade unions stated that the law would degrade workers' rights and eliminate the comfort of working and social security. According to KSP, well, hello KSP, good to have you here. International labor organizations support the state's fight against the job creation law. Oh, wait. That could mean a number of things. But anyway. Another disagreement. The criticism does not come solely from labor unions. Okay, let's keep going. Even before the law was enacted, Indonesia's two major trade unions filed a judicial review. This phenomenon has brought the question, why is the law that is praised by the government official as a vital regulation to boost investment and the economy faces such massive criticism from the civil society? Apparently, the criticism from trade unions and civil society is legitimate, since the text and regulation has plenty of provisions and revisions that potentially can harm labor rights and decrease worker protection, as laid out below. Okay. Let's see. PKWT. Indonesian labor law draws a clear distinction between an employment agreement for an unspecified period. Why not just call it contract workers? Although I guess, technically, if you're a permanent worker, you're still, like, the relationship is still governed under a contract. Workers under both types of agreements is related to the security of employment, and dismissal payment. This is also another thing, I guess, which is interesting because, like, these contract workers, they may be contracted by other companies, but shouldn't they be technically be permanent workers in their outsourcing agency? Or are these outsourcing agencies, like, they found a legal loophole which allows their workers to be more like, so that they would basically serve as the middleman, as the broker. They don't employ the outsource employees directly. Therefore, it removes their obligations to meet labor protection requirements. Is that what's happening? Could be. I mean, I guess that would make sense. That would be like the way they would get around providing labor rights. Workers under employment agreement have rights to severance and reward for service payments. In contrast, workers under employment agreements, for instance, they do not get any of this if the contract ends its term. Yeah, I think I found this as well in the, I think it was GR 37, isn't it? No, that's, fuck, it's different. Is it a 36? Or is it 35? No, it's 35. Sangwon. This applies to everyone. I think this applies to everyone. I think I made an entire list for this. Oh well. No matter. So that's one of the things that's important to emphasize. Contract workers do not get any are not eligible to the security of employment terms and dismissal payment, or severance payment. There are two notable changes in regarding PKWT. First, related to the types of work. Okay. Initially, contract workers are only for certain types of work. But no. Oh god, sorry. Come on. Gotta stay up. Outsourcing system, minimum wage setting. Paid leaves. Okay, hang on. Let me take a breather. I think I'm a bit hungry actually. Can we take 5? Just let me top up so I can wake up, I guess. Getting a bit hungry. Gonna make some bread. I'll be right back. Just real quickly, okay? Hi. Sorry, I'm back. Turns out, like my dad made some pisang goreng this afternoon, and there were still some leftovers, so just helped myself with that. Okay. I remember making a note for this. I wonder where they are now. Do I have like... Let me... Because this was actually part of the work that I had to do. Do I have that somewhere with me? Shit, it's not. Fuck. Because I went through the regulation before, and I, like I did my thing. Like I put the notes, like, oh, what does it mean? Why is it like so? And such. But oh well. Or is it? Is it here? Avert your gaze. Where is it? Fuck. Oh, there you go. No, it's not this one. Okay, sorry. Is it in this one then? Do I have it open with me at the moment? I do. That's for SEZ, that's manufacturing, MSME. Where's the thingamabobber? Oh. Guess the details were lost. Oh well, never mind. No matter. Back to the study. Oh, not this one. This one. Okay. First major changes to the type of work and maximum duration. I forgot why. Like, why was, like, initially, why was it only allowed for certain types of work? I mean, let's think about the consequences. If all work can be outsourced, it kind of insinuates that it's just inherently worse to become a contract worker. Like in an ideal world, I guess, if there's no discrimination between contract workers and permanent workers in terms of their rights and for pay and severance and essentially everything, then wouldn't it? Then shouldn't it be allowed? Although I guess, I guess there's the thing about climbing up the corporate ladder, I suppose. Right? Because I guess that's also another thing. I think like in the previous, which I guess this kind of feeds into the, what's the term that she used? Maximum duration, like maximum duration of PKWT, the contract workers. Because like initially, if you already pass that threshold, then the worker deserves to be hired as a permanent worker. At least that's to my understanding. Whereas now, is I actually have that written down somewhere. I forgot the exact number of years, but the key distinction is that there's no limit to contract renewal. I think that's the thing, because there's contract renewal and there's contract extension, and in the old one, you can extend it by a year and then renew it for a maximum of 2 years, I think. But now, because there's no clause or provisions for contract renewals, it means that effectively, a company can renew the contract for as much as they want. So there's essentially no time limit for outsourcing. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Stipulates that the maximum period is 2 years, followed by a 1-year extension or 2-year renewal. Under the job creation law, the provision is removed, meaning that there are no more terms on the maximum period of, contract workers, along with the restriction on renewal. Yeah. Estimated not in the long term. Can we look at the... Okay, we have the GR open. Let me find this section. Okay. Was she referring to this? Yeah, I think so. Job that is done not estimated not in the long term. Doesn't take too long to finish. And also removing the phrase no longer than 3 years. Yeah. And this is it, making it possible for the employers to renew the contract continuously. For example, that no temporary employment agreement shall be entered into for a permanent job. It also contains a provision that eliminates the possibility to transfer from a fixed term agreement to a permanent term agreement. Okay. Law regulates in a stricter manner. For example, businesses in various industries in Indonesia have frequently employed fixed-term contracts to avoid the higher benefits that permanent employees receive. Yeah, that tends to happen. The misuse of fixed-term contracts has been subjected to plenty of industrial relations disputes. There have been instances of fixed-term contracts being utilized in sequences with 1 month's rest in between, or personnel being rotated between branches within the same group or enterprises or outsourcing organizations. Cases where fixed-term contracts... Wait, hang on. There have been instances of fixed-term contracts being utilized in sequences with 1 month's rest. I imagine maybe this becomes an issue, this one. The 1 month's resting. Is because I imagine their payment is more variable. So if they don't clock in their hours, then they just don't get paid. I guess that's how I would interpret it. Personnel being rotated between branches within the same group of enterprises. Yeah, I think... Oh, yeah, I think there's also... the thing that I had in mind... so what if, say, we do have a contract limit? Can't the outsourcing agencies simply, send the employee to a different company so that, as a company, I would probably reserve the right to say, I don't want them anymore. Right? So, I wonder if it's regulated. If in the case that, you've met the maximum threshold, and then the company says, okay, let's shift this person or this group of people, I imagine, with a fresh one so that I can renew the contract again. Is there a regulation that protects these workers so that if they reach that term limit, that means they have to be guaranteed. They must be guaranteed a path to become permanent workers. Although then again, if that is the, what is it? Not fail-safe. That's the, like, when everything would get triggered in motion, then can't the company simply not reach the term limit? And when they reach 1 year, let's say, just okay, I need a fresh batch now, so that I don't have to be obligated to hire them as permanent workers. I don't know. Just a thought. Interestingly, the job creation law also contains a provision regulating compensation for workers with the pekawete. Okay. In the event that a temporary employment agreement is terminated, a business must provide compensation to workers. Okay, that's good. Although, of course, like the compensation has been altered quite a lot. Mostly, well, it's been reduced. Yeah. Previously, workers was not provided. I mean, the manpower law, compensation was not provided. So I guess there's a positive thing then. Okay, no term limit. And this one, introduce, oblige, compensation. Sorry. Oblige compensation in the case that the agreement is terminated. This is positive, surprisingly, because initially in the 2003 law, I think, or something, it was not. Yeah, 2003, it was not. Okay. A silver lining, I guess. A very thin one at that. Cool. Despite it seems good on paper, here we go. The compensation for pekawete workers have been drawing criticism from both the employers and the workers' sides. Employers argue that the new rules will become a new burden for them. Well, fuck you then. While the workers fears that the rules will be hard to enforce due to the lack of compliance from the company. Fair point. Another provision that can be considered as a deregulation in job creation law is the removal of articles in the previous that restricts the types of work. Okay. So initially, limited to certain types of work. Now virtually can be anything. I think that's pretty much the main change. Yeah, it was erased. Oh, that's it, huh? Although one clear thing about the new provision is that it specifically states that the outsourcing firm is responsible for the outsourced employment. Okay. Minimum wage setting. Topical. Just touch on this. Another notable change. There were 4 types of minimum wages. La la la. It is argued one of the key changes. Oh, one of the key changes that have caused concern. abolished. Oh god, come on. Stay up. Wake up. Abolition. The requirement. Meeting the need for decent living. Is she gonna mention about how it's altered to meet average consumption instead? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like even when it's compared, and we were still using the KHL decent living index. I don't know if it's an index or not. I wonder how it's even calculated. Because like I imagine the amount is still abysmal in a lot of ways. It's inadequate. So I mean, it was already bad back then. It's even worse now with the removal of that criteria. Although of course that having that coded into law that the goal should be to meet the need for decent life. You can it has if it's coded, then it would be easier to alter it. Although I guess technically you'll have to tweak the ways in which the decent life part is calculated. Damn, I'm getting really sleepy. Oh, am I just getting old? Or am I like experiencing the whole thing with Benjamin Button, where I'm just becoming a baby again? That's why I'm sleepy at this hour. Just maybe wrap up until paid leaves, and then I'll end it there for now. I can just continue later. So far, it's pretty much in line with my personal findings, with exception to the part about that what was it, severance pay for contract workers. That's actually interesting. I did not notice that. I did not know that initially it was not a provision. Holy hell. Provides obligation, la la. Optional. Oh, so initially district level is mandatory. Interesting. I mean, wait, how does that work back then? Because, like, in the current regulation, I understand it's optional. Oh, I get it. Maybe back then, it still has the criteria. The whole thing about, oh, the economic growth should be higher than the provincial level 3 years in a row, something like that. If we could just reference that real quickly. No? Okay. Yeah, that one. Hold on, let's go back. La 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 la. Okay. See? Oh my god. Take your time. Thank you, Alnick. Hey, boo boo. I'm not talking to you, Tab. Is it Bigsby? I need to turn off that thing. It's Google. Why is Google responding when I say boo boo? Interesting. So the average economic growth of the region of the last 3 years should be higher than the provincial level. So I guess the difference is that initially they must, if that turns out to be the case, but now it's optional. Maybe that's the main criticism here. If they meet the criteria of setting regional, well, municipal, more like. Forgot about that term. Yeah, municipal. Because regional is more like province. Municipal is, well, like cities or regions. That's right, right? I think so. I don't know. Well, district, I guess I can say as well. The change also draws strong criticism. Besides, the provincial minimum wage may not represent a decent living standard at the regency or city level due to the high disparities and so on and so forth. Yeah, makes sense. It removes the sectoral minimum wage. There is no clear reason why it no longer exists because it's more representative. This is something interesting because like if you Google, can you actually find it? You can? Okay. But it still applies. Wait, what is this saying? UMSK. It's still being used. Okay. With the condition that the value is still higher than the regional minimum wage, the provincial minimum wage. Okay. Interesting. So it's still... Can I find this data? What is it again? UMS something? This is a new finding. Should probably look into that later on. Maybe not now. Hi, play Minecraft with me. Are you planning to ask me to play Minecraft with you? Sadly, I don't play Minecraft, if that happens to be your plan. If they meet the criteria of setting the as well. Where is it? Oh. Removal. Junaid. What do you mean? Removal of sectoral minimum wage. I need to look into this in the future. Okay. The future. La 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 la. However, it leaves an important detail on the formula. It just mentions that a wage calculation formula shall contain economic growth or inflation variables and shall be regulated under different government regulations. Yeah, this is the GR36 where it comes in. Sad that, I mean, the paper came out in 2022 and unfortunately it didn't take into account GR36 because, like, again, will not stop pointing out how disgusting this formula is. The exemption was more... Yeah, here you go, exemption. Unclear formula. Note, this study does not consider... What is it called again? Are you from Pakistan? Hi. How did you get here? sometimes I'm amazed with the YouTube algorithm because like my YouTube shorts, for instance, they get quite a lot of outreach to people in the US, but not my videos though. Although there were some exceptions, like in one of my Elden Ring videos, someone found it from after watching Charlie's video, Moist Critical's video. That was something. Okay, unclear minimum wage problem. Study does not consider. I'm gonna say does not consider. What was I typing just now? Does not consider GR36. There you go. And exemptions for MSMEs. Well, small and micro businesses. Fine. Perfectly specified. Yeah, I mean, we know the details now. It's regulated under, what is it called? GR36. Okay, last point. Let's go. Another clear example of deregulation. Hi, where are you from? I'm from Indonesia. Another clear. I'm going through this study about Indonesia's new labor regulation. So there's this researcher who assessed the changes and how it could have potential impact on the well-being of workers. Another clear example of the regulation is the revocation on long service leave. I don't even know what that is. Never for the same. Oh, right, this one. Yeah. Revocation of long service leave. So if you're loyal to your company, then you're entitled to a specific type of leave. It's at least 2 months, apparently. Okay. Says the job creation law, it was serve employees. So this is mandatory. Becomes optional. Further example. Okay. Is that it? Really? I mean, I think there's a specific thing about maternal leave that. What is it? Let's find that word. Is it here or is it in the other regulation? Here you go. Let's find that word. Is it here, perhaps? Because like I seem to remember that if you look at law, the 2003 law, it specified the amount of months that you are eligible to. Meanwhile, here it didn't. It doesn't. So, kinda leaves it to interpretation, like how long are companies obligated to provide maternal leave. And of course, point to be made, why only maternal leave? Why not paternal leave as well? Anyway, and I think like there was a recent reform that extends the maternal leave. Is it maternal or maternity leave? I forgot which one. But yeah. Back to the paper again. Okay, I guess that's it then. Leaves the last 2 bullet points. I think this is like the heart of the discussion. Let's skim. Do I want to skim through it? I'm feeling a bit sleepy. Oh, is your name Junaid? Okay. Hi, Junaid. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. My name is Chatra. It's you can see from the name of my socials, like Instagram and whatnot. That's basically my name. I think I'm gonna end it here for now. I'm really tired. I do apologize that earlier in the stream. Hang on, let me just switch back here. I do apologize that earlier in the stream, my audio quality was really bad. Apparently there was some rogue plugin or something that caused it. It was like the gain was too high, essentially, I guess. It was really distorted. It was really very shrilly or frilly. I don't know which one's the term. Especially you, all Nick. Like, I'm really sorry about you, all Nick. Because I think you were the one who was there listening to the whole thing. To a point that you actually thought it was your audio, when it was actually mine. I like your video and subscribe. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. But anyway, so what do? Recap. We read the the new Ministry of Manpower regulation regarding how the 2023 minimum wage is going to be determined. And there were some dodgy things happening there, specifically the alpha coefficient, which is determined based on productivity and employment opportunities. And for some reason, the coefficient, the range of the coefficient is determined, like it's limited to 0.1 to 0.3. I think something that we can do during the next live stream is to create like some kind of simulation, because I have this. I can show this real quickly. It's a very, oh wait, I don't have it open. There you go. It's a very simple spreadsheet. I didn't, sprinkle it with anything, with formatting or whatnot. But like I tried to make some simulations based on the new regulation, that because like in GR36, the new minimum wage is determined by not only inflation and economic growth, but also number of working household members and number of household members, as well as average consumption. So this is what I've been tweaking around, and I think we can incorporate that other thing, the alpha coefficient, and see what happens there. And it's really annoying the fact that like just like those things, like, well, I guess you can get average consumption data, but like when they refer to economic productivity, they did not define what that represents, like how is it calculated, and especially employment opportunity, like, oh, what the fuck does that mean? So yeah, that's really unfortunate, but yeah. So far, there's only been 3 provinces that has announced the new minimum wage. We'll just have to wait and see, because like in the new ministerial regulation, they extended the deadline from tomorrow into the week after, on the 28th, at the end of this month. So we'll be looking forward to that. Maybe I'll just call the stream like, hey, new minimum wage drop or something. That'll be interesting. Definitely need to gonna make like a list on the growth for each provinces, and yeah, that's for the minimum wage section. For the paper, so far it's pretty aligned, because I actually did a project. I am doing a project, actually. I'm still in the middle of wrapping things up in creating an evaluation framework for a particular law, the job creation law. And one of the things that we did was that we did this baseline setting, I guess, where we compared the previous and the new one and try to derive potential implications based on that. And it seems that, fortunately, through this, I guess, peer review, which that I do on my own. I guess that doesn't count as peer review, doesn't it? That, hey, apparently it's pretty much aligned with what Nabila found. So I guess that's it. I'll keep reading the last 2 sections. Shouldn't take long, I imagine. During their next live stream. I'm not sure when. I'm not gonna promise on anything. I know that I've been gone for like 3 weeks now, or even a month even. But I do want to get back on things. I think I really need to push myself again, and like because like, there's always that constant battle, you know, whenever I do these type of political live streams, that like it's almost like for most live streams it's designed for people to express things that they already have a strong command of, like they have already proper knowledge about it, when like the reason why I want to do live streams is not to do that, it's to do research and to study and to learn new things, and in a way train myself to deliver arguments, because that's definitely something that I feel like I've lost my touch in a lot of ways because of my line of work. So yeah, I think I need to do that. I need to start doing that and try not to think too much. I think this is what my partner told me. I don't know if Boo Boo is still here, but yeah, she told me that, hey, I mean, don't think too much about it, you know. And I think, well, one way to do it is just try. GG. Hey Boo Boo, thank you. And hey Alnick, thank you. Good stream as usual, really enjoying it. Again, really sorry about the audio. It was horrible. My god, Boo Boo, if you rewind and you listen to it, it was so bad. I should have checked it. Oh well. It happens, shit happens. But anyway. Okay then. Yeah, you think too much. Actually enjoying this more because I read Nabila. Oh, thanks, Alec. Yeah. Read Nabila journal together. Okay. Okay, right. It's 11 p.m. I have work tomorrow. Not looking forward to it, but oh well. Just have to persevere. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, please leave a like. That would help. Really help push the video into the algorithm, I guess. Stuff like that. Very good. Hey, thank you. Tonight. I'll live stream again next time, whatever that may be, depending on when I'm available, if I'm not too tired. Definitely gonna finish up with the study, and I still have to finish Elden Ring's NG +1, that's for sure. But yeah, a lot of things, but we'll see. Again, thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Okay, take care now. Bye bye.